Italian food and the Italian wine are playing together, and it's for sure a great opportunity for a guy like me that I'm involved in the field, in the vineyard, in the cellar, but yeah, having also some time to spend with the final consumer is really interesting for me. Welcome in Montalcino. Montalcino, it's very particular. You visited different places in Tuscany. Probably visiting also Montalcino, you're gonna have the two different side of Tuscany wine. Because here we speak about traditional wine, classical wine, old world wine. It's completely different than all the wine that are made coming from the coast, from Bulgaria, like Sassicaia and Northern Laia. Montalcino is a very small community. We have 5,000 people living here. It's a very little village with 250 wineries. You can imagine how the wine and the wine growing is it's influencing our lifestyle and our everyday life. It's a very small community. We are living over a hill that is more or less looks like a square, and there are different position and different soil. Now you are located on the east side. It's just over here. This is why we can see the last hill this is Montepulciano. Probably you know Nobile di Montepulciano is another traditional Tuscany wine, and we are neighbors. Of course, completely different wines. Montalcino is involved in 100% Sangiovese with a very long aging. Montepulciano is a blend of Sangiovese with 20% of other varieties, and is refined just 2 years. This is why it's considered a easy drinking wine if you compare with Brunello. But speaking about Montalcino, is a hill that starts from 200 meters over the sea level to 600 meters over the sea level on top of the town. And the wineries are all over around the village and around the hill. But when we speak about Montalcino in terms of fine wine, there are places over the hill where the quality and the expression of the wine is more important. Because probably now you know better, but Sangiovese is a particular variety. It's a kind of grape that is not really generous or powerful, doesn't have a very precise taste like a Cabernet or a Merlot, very rich in fragrance and color, but is more a shy grape, able to translate and tell the story of the soil where it's growing. This is why we consider it produce Sangiovese a big challenger for the winemaker and the wine growers, and could be a great wine where you feel something of magical related with the place where you are tasting the wine, or could be just a easy drinking wine without any specific quality of color or fragrance. Through the story of the Tuscany wine, we understood that over this hill, the expression of full 100% Sangiovese, it's completely different. It's much more deep and complex, needs of more time. This is why it's considered the best place to have 100% Sangiovese. Speaking about the hill, we can recognize 4 different areas of wine production in Montalcino. The south side is over here, and is where Banfi is located. You visited Banfi.
Where's Banfi?
Banfi is 79.
Okay.
Banfi owns more or less 900 hectares of land, 2,700 acres, and is the biggest producer of Brunello. The story of Banfi is very important for the story of Montalcino, because imagine Montalcino 45 years ago we had just 25 wine growers. Now we are 250. Wow. And this brand very popular, this very strong export, and this popularity arrived after Banfi, because the first 25 wine growers were family used to survive here, not to make business. We always been too far from the town, too far from Siena and Florence to have investors or different kind of business in our land to support the community or offering job to the younger generation. And this is why this part of Tuscany looks particularly untouched. If you look around, there are some construction, mostly are farmhouse or medieval castle, like you can see there, but there are not industry building or big house. Or everything is like 200-300 years ago, and the reason is we never had the opportunity to offer interesting business for investors, and the people who decide to live here in the past, they decide to stay because they really they feel comfortable with the farming life, and in this farmhouse they had all the production for their table, because now we speak about winery, but each of these winery is been a farmhouse. In the farmhouse, the old Tuscany farmer had couple of fields to follow and sharing the crop with the other community, with the other family, producing olive oil, wine, grain, food for the garden, and having some animal. And it's been, I think, the roots of our story, the beginning of our story. And this is why if you travel around Montalcino, there are not places where you can see just vineyard, like you can find in some very famous wine region, like Barolo or like also Napa is surrounded about vineyard everywhere. But here there are vineyard, but there are just 15% of the surface involved in wine production. The 85% of the area, the surface, is involved in olive trees, in field, in everything, and that's very healthy. First of all, for us that we live here and we consume our product, because here we eat our food and we drink our wine. And second, because to produce a great healthy wine, you need to be in a healthy environment. And when the environment is involved in just one kind of plants, is looks very intense farming, and can be not organic or biodynamic or healthy, because you are in the hand of the chemistry. Every time that you have a dangerous pest or a disease, you have to control the problem through the chemical or through the new technology of farming. That is not the best solution, especially when you are in such an important place, 100% clean from pollution, and where the soil is poor, is very old, and the outcome could be beautiful in itself without any input or any addition from the human. And this is why I believe that making organic and biodynamic wine in Montalcino has to be necessary. I think that the chemistry here is not necessary. Everything is great himself. When we speak about the different terroir of Montalcino, South always offered wine very rich and dark and powerful, because it's more sunny, it's warmer, and the wine, the Sangiovese there, is very drinkable, because it's a little bit overbuilt. It's very sunny and very concentrated, but it's never been a Brunello that the fine consumer consider it the best expression of Sangiovese, because Sangiovese is not famous to be a dark wine, very concentrated. It's famous to be a slim, elegant wine for gastronomy, for food, that you can drink easily and enjoy with its great acidity with any kind of food. The west side of Montalcino, like you can see here, is not populated of winery. There are not many red point. Each of these red point is a winery, because this is where historically the community had the forest producing the wood for the fire. The electricity in Montalcino is arrived in the 80s. Up to the 80s, we used the forest to warm up the house or have some light in the street. This is why a big part of the territory is still covered by forest, and that's great for the biodiversity, from my point of view. Another big point is Sangiovese ripe very slowly, and at the end of September, beginning of October, when sometimes we can have rain or fog or humidity in the night, and enjoy the sun early in the morning. It's very important, because it's free the grape from any fungus attack, and is not making us in trouble with the ripening. This is why most part of the first farmer arrive in Montalcino, they prefer producing wine over the east side, where we enjoy the sun early, and not on the west, where the sun is arriving later in the morning and is keeping the vineyard warmer in the night because you face the sunset. When we look at the territory, we understand many things that looks natural when you think what we produce and how our agent worked in their story. The north side over here and the east side are the two most important sides of the hill. North is cooler, and is a cold area of cooler area of the hill, and is why the ripening here is very slow, and they pick the grape at last. Normally picking in October, picking on the north side is half October. The south side is sometimes also first week of September. There are just 15 kilometers, more than 10 miles, but 4 or 5 weeks of difference in ripening with the same grape. You can perceive how is sensitive the Sangiovese to the place where it's growing, because we are so close. But in October, on the south side, the farmers are already in vacation. On the north side, we are running like crazy because we don't know yet how gonna be the crop and if everything gonna be great, because some storms, everything can happen when your fruit are outdoor. The east side is this line of hill. It's populated by many small boutique winery. It's great because it's facing east. It's very windy because we have always a complementary breeze over our vineyard. It is great to keep dry the grape, and it's a place that we have to be honored to farm this piece of land, because the outcome is great. I love it. And 4 different exposition, different altitude, because we start from 200 to 600 meters over the sea level, and different soil. Most part of the good soil in Montalcino are ocean soil, because Montalcino, more or less 5 million of years ago, was covered by the ocean. This is why we have this old clay called marne. It's a mix of clay and limestone, where the wine could be very, very deep and complex, because the clay is involved with the limestone coming from the digestion of the marine fossil coming from the ocean age, and this makes the wine always very big. But at the same time, you have volcanic soil on the higher part of the hill with more rocks, and on the border, normally the soil are more related with the alluvional phenomenon, like river erosion, water erosion, and they're younger. To produce a great wine, especially with variety like Sangiovese, Nebbiolo, Pinot Noir, really depending on the place where they are growing, we need of old soil. The old soil makes the wine under stress, makes the wine a bit less generous. They produce less because they feel themselves under stress, but the fruit is more rich, have more soul. And this is why it's great, because we don't need to do green harvest, reducing the crop, or adding something in the wine to get the wine better. But my work here is preserve this kind of expression. I'm never stressed by how I can improve the quality. I always stress by how I can not ruin the quality of my place. And it's of course is a big privilege, because you can produce wine all over in the world now, more or less, and many places are places where the wine could be at maximum good, well made, but doesn't speak about something that is unique. Here we have this possibility to produce unique wine, and I believe that putting the hand in the wine, try to control the nature with the manipulation and everything, it's not good to do here. It's maybe a solution to produce wine in a flat area, more humid, not sunny like Tuscany, but not here. If you want now, we can have a little walk over around the villa and see the bonsai vineyard. Unfortunately, it's pretty wet. We can't walk in the vineyard, but we can give a look just over here and visit the cellar. and step by step, everything gonna be more clear for you. That is lots of things to understand and hear, but it's.
Grazie.
Thank you. Grazie.